Okay.
I want everybody to know how proud I am of you, man.
I appreciate it.
You making this thing happen. Got a nice setup.
Shout out Corey. Behind the lens.
Listen, Corey. Well, listen. Alvin had Simon. Batman had Robin.
Come on. 2-man crew. We running it.
Hey, listen, man. It's all about it. I think that the fact that you have two young men that's making an impact in their way.
Gotcha.
I think it's phenomenal. I watch the setup. I watch what you do. And now the only thing I leave here with is how can I do this?
Gotcha.
Because one of the greatest joys of envy is just copying off a person. You don't have to reinvent it.
You can do this.
But it's a blessing. But I do want you to know, man, I'm so proud of you, proud of the both of you, and what you're doing, and you're putting stuff on people, man. You're letting voices like mine be heard, and I just hope that this kind of thing can continue to go on, because it's so much that you have to say and enlighten people too. And so come on, Kansas City, let's get on board and let's help these brothers do what they do.
I appreciate you so much, man. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Yo, what up, 33? Tell me something good.
Everybody.
They tell me life don't come with no manual, so we're gonna take it a day at a time.
Man, about time you got here, man.
Well. We back again. You're now tuned into the GoodDays GreatNights Podcast. I tell y'all all the time, this is going to be a special one. This is one I've been waiting on for a long time. I tell y'all that every time I get to break bread with my people, it's always a pleasure. But I'm overexcited on this one. Like this is one of them ones, and I say it all the time. So without further ado, let me break it down to you. If you know me in the cigar world, they call me 33, CoolBreezeAl. Alicia and Harrison's daddy or father, depending on what demographic, how you get down. Your auntie's favorite podcast host. She's getting ready to start making that potato salad. The temperature's starting to change. Your uncle's favorite nephew. And second coming to Gerald Levert and Mr. Will Smith, your mama from a half to a whole. I just got a couple handles. I got a couple handles. I got to make sure they know. So y'all know my rules. We do it a little different here. It's never about your name first. It's always about you as a person. A lot of times they may have heard that a few moons ago, a young boy listened to his father at a revival preach the word. They also may have heard a young man met a lady and she prayed over his clothes before he would go do certain things, and then when she would introduce him, I could never introduce him like she do. She would say that, her big daddy, her sweet daddy and all of those type of things. But we're going to do it in the sense of this is my friend. This is my friend. This is my uncle. This is the uncle I talk about when I say it on the show. So we never say your name first. We're going to get to your name. We do it in the sense of a road trip. So if we were to leave here right now and you got a few of your homeboys with you, a few of your friends, and I got my people with me and we in the Sprinter, where would you want to go to? Where would you want to drive off to?
Well, if it's in the country,
okay,
then I would probably drive to Florida.
We're going to Florida?
Or do I have one choice?
You got two. Either way, you pick where you want to go.
It'll probably be Florida, but if my lady is with me,
okay,
it would definitely have to be somewhere where there is lots and lots of crab legs and shrimp. So Florida, Virginia, any place like that, but it'll be warm.
Okay.
Even, Georgia.
That's perfect. So it's your turn to drive. We already set up prayers. We already got down the road.
All right.
You a morning driver or a night driver? In your heyday?
In my heyday, I could drive day, but at night, everything was quiet.
Yeah.
The road was clearer, and I could drink not drink, but not drink and drive. Have my Coke, my ice, and my music playing.
Okay.
And could think.
Okay, so we're gonna say night. It's your turn to drive at night.
Okay,
you didn't jump in. We didn't plugged up with the phone, and so you get to pick 5 songs. So in the sense of this, it's 5 songs to describe you of where you're at right now as a man. It's subject to change by the end of the interview, of course, but it's where you're at right now. So what 5 songs would you pick, and then kind of give me a little backstory of them in the sense of why?
Okay, is it 5 stories, 5 songs on the road, or just 5 songs in general that I like to hear? So 5 songs
you like to hear. So if you cleaning up on Saturday morning, if you courting the missus, if you're going through.
Well, I can do the missus.
Come on.
I can do the missus. If I'm just driving, and I would play a little series, whatever you call it, Channel 64. I'll get down on the Kirk Franklin music, station, and we ride. But as the ride progresses,
come on,
my playlist changes.
Okay, so what we starting out
now
with?
I'm thinking, so I'll probably put on some light jazz and some smooth R&B.
Jazz and R&B.
You don't know songs like by enchantment, like Silly Love Song.
I know Silly Love Song.
You don't know Silly Love Song.
Enchantment.
If I could write a silly love song,
come on,
I would write it all about you.
Watch it.
The words will reflect your inner beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And the melodies, your eyes so true. 'Cause I love you more and more each day. And baby, if I had my way, I would write a song all about you, girl. And I'd sing it all over the world. Just
a little something like that.
Just a little something like that.
Okay.
We'll be grooving, but my road trip is.
So you got Silly Love Song.
I got Silly Love Song.
That's for Pastor O, of course.
That's for Pastor O.
And then a song to describe you.
A song to describe me. Ain't no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move. Because I look at myself as being progressive. I look at myself as trying to accomplish certain things, in my life, and I can't afford to allow anything, to stop me. So that's my song when I'm motivated, when I'm moving, when I'm gone, man, when I'm trying to get up the road and get something done and get something accomplished.
When you think about your kids and your grandkids, what song comes to mind?
I named LaMonica to Stevie Wonder's song In the Key of Life.
Okay.
And at that time, Stevie Wonder had a daughter that was born named Aisha, and of course, Olivia and I named LaMonica Aisha. But isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful?
Okay.
Isn't she precious? Less than 1 minute, I can't believe what God has done to us. He has given life to one so very lovely, made from love. And that's how I view all my children. Just lovely, man, songs like that. Heaven must be missing an angel.
Come on.
So when I think of my kids, I'm thinking, one of the greatest things that could have happened to Olivia and myself. And that's how I view them. Beautiful, awesome, I want them to do great things. Yeah.
Got you. Then we need 2 more. So
2 more, okay.
In the sense of your favorite jam back when you was a young boy in high school before you went to the service. One of the ones that you still hear it every now and then. You say, "Man, I come a long way." But that's still your song. People wouldn't know that's your song.
People wouldn't know.
Or even a song today that people wouldn't know. That you like. You just say that's my song. I like when I hear it.
That's my song. Wow, I have so many. But if I had to put my go-to would be a Manhattan's Jam.
A Manhattan's Jam, okay.
Manhattan's Jam, Livy and I, we've always loved the Manhattans. I remember we're in Tacoma, Washington, living in a place called Tillicum.
Okay.
And we would hold on to all of those. You know, I've just always loved Gerald Austin,
Okay.
and the Manhattans. But out of all of the great ones that they've done, come on, baby,
Okay.
let's sit down. We've been dancing all night long. Come on, baby, get close to me. I want to dance to a love song.
Hey.
You know, so that honey, you
Yeah.
are my shining star.
Come on.
Don't you go away.
Work it.
No, baby.
And last but not least, if you think about, when you think about the goodness of God and you think about where he's brought you, what would be your go-to?
My go-to as many of them, but I would have to go to I can't thank him enough.
Come on now.
I can't thank him enough. I can't praise him enough. Oh, I can't lift him too high. God has been good. God has been good. God has been so good to me. That song tells my life. You know, it just, man, October we married 48 years. And just from where we started as kids, 17 and 18, leaving home, never been really out of the state, and just building a life together. When we just look back, I got a million stories though. So you better stop me when.
No, you good. So check this out. Do me a favor. Introduce yourself.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. We don't do it like that. What do they call you?
Well, Olivia calls me sweet.
Okay.
Monica and Stephanie calls me daddy.
Uh-huh.
My grandkids call me papa.
Okay.
The church calls me bishop.
Okay.
And the fellowship of churches called me apostle.
Come on.
But at the end of the day, I'm just Larry.
Just
Larry.
Just plain old Larry.
Plain old Larry, man.
I like it.
Keeps you rooted and grounded.
Okay. So, like I said, again, I thank you for sitting down with me, having this time with me. When I'm looking over your list, the main thing with your list has love in it.
Yeah.
Your list has like love in it, from the fact that you give God praise for
Yes,
where
sir.
you're going and coming. And the Manhattans, that's building up on love alone, and Key of Life, that's, Stevie's a special kind of guy to everybody.
Yeah.
Ain't no stopping us now. And then in the Champions, Silly Love Song is one of the ones that I play,
Yeah,
at least
that's
at least
my
twice
girl.
a week. So definitely do that. So 24 hours in a day, right?
24 hours in a day.
What does that look like in your role on a we won't say normal, but a typical day? What could that be? 24 hours. How does it start?
I remember preaching a sermon sometime ago entitled "What a Day Might Bring,"
Okay.
and that's really my life. What a day might bring. I don't think there's ever a day that's the same. Always something different. You're celebrating a birth with somebody here, and you get a call about a death. You get a call about a sickness. Somebody's having a birthday party, and then someone else's mother is dying in the hospital. So the day is just wide open, full of ups and downs, and emotionally you have to be able to plug in and plug out, so you won't carry all of these things home, but you got to still feel as God. Bible said we have a high priest that feels our infirmities. He understands. And so from a pastoral standpoint, you have to feel what people feel,
Right.
in order for them to know that you are real and you care and want the best for them. So that can get the best of you sometimes. But just in a typical day, you just My prayer, our prayers, when I say that, Livy and I, our prayer is, God, give us what we need to command the day. So we wake up in the morning and we command our day, that whatever happens, whatever come along, that we're going to have the wisdom to handle it, that
Okay.
we're going to have the ability and the know-how and the God-given strength. So we don't complain about the day. We just get up and whatever happens, on that day, and understand that we're talking about a day not that starts at 7:00.
Okay.
You're talking about a day that could start at 1:00, 2:00, in the morning, and then run completely, all day. You may be get a call and you're at a hospital with a family whose loved one is taking a turn for the worse, and so you're there from 1 to maybe 6:00.
Gotcha.
In the morning, and you're fixing all of this in the midst of things that you have to personally do, and then other obligations. So you have to become, in a sense, all things to all people. Not that we can, and I'm not saying that's a role that we can, but you feel like you have to become all things to all people because you want people to feel loved. At the end of the day, you want them to feel cared for. So my day, I remember there was a young girl, Andrea, and Andrea had a sickness. I want to say it was like I don't want to call the wrong thing, but it escapes me. But she spent a whole day with me one day because she told her mama she felt sorry for me because I didn't have a job. I didn't work. She wanted to know where we're. Anyway, she spends this whole day with me, and at the end of the day, she goes home tired because she didn't believe that
it was
my
a job.
day consisted of all that it did. But yeah, man, this was and she died at 12 years old. One of the most hurtful funerals I ever had to do. But I love that girl to this day because she really, that was my early days here. Just kind of helped me get through some things, and just seeing church through her eyes was absolutely amazing. But man, loving people and loving families, and I think it's the joy of ministry that takes the stress off of you. So my day's crazy.
Okay, so with that, right? Do you get an hour to yourself for like solitude where you can decompress? Do you make that an effort? Because that's a real big thing for me nowadays when I talk to men, especially black men in the world nowadays, because we carry a lot, and you carrying a congregation, your family, your grandkids, and then the missus, and then yourself, and everybody depends on you to be a certain kind of way, and then you holding yourself to a certain kind of standard where you feel like if you didn't give them the best, then you mad at yourself.
True.
But what does that hour piece look like for you? What's that look like? Is that TV? Is that sleep? Is that reading? What is that?
I think that my best time is just at night when everything is done, and I can call it a day. It's not just going and laying in the bed, but I go and I have this chair in my room, and I just sit back, in that chair. It's kind of like my reflection chair. I just kind of think about all that happened during the day and just kind of unwind and wind down. Olivia's asleep. We empty nesters. So she's asleep. Everything is quiet. And I just sit in that chair and just kind of calm down, because I can't go to sleep until I just calm down and come all the way down. So, but to get my day started, it's just getting up early in the morning.
Gotcha.
Doing some devotion and doing some praying and, just kind of getting that day, commanding that day, to putting on the strength for that morning. I would say too, the fact that I know a lot is on me, and the way I handle that is I welcome what's on me.
Okay.
You can't resist what's on you. You have to embrace what's on you, because to he who much is given, much is required. So I ask myself not, can I do this? I ask myself, how can I do this? And it changes the dynamic, because if I'm always figuring out, can I do this? I'm trying to convince myself.
Right.
I've already told myself, yes, I can do it. So the question is, how can I do this?
Right.
How can I make this happen? So I'm looking for more solutions. So I would challenge any man out there, embrace it. Half the battle is won when you embrace the fact that you're the go-to guy.
Say that again.
When you embrace the fact that you are the go-to guy,
Yeah.
half the battle is already
It's won.
I know people depend on me. I know that.
Yeah.
So I cannot convince myself that I'm someone other than who I am.
Gotcha.
I am the go-to guy.
Yeah.
I embrace that. I don't look for excuses for not being
They go to it.
the go-to guy. And so that helps me handle the pressure.
Yes.
Because I know I'm the guy. And I also know that God would not put something on you that you can't handle.
Okay.
So I'm built for this. I can handle this. I am the guy.
Gotcha.
You've never seen a quarterback get on the field and doubt that they're the guy.
He come out slinging.
I rest my case.
Okay.
I rest my case.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm the guy.
So with you being the guy and pastoring for how many years now?
About 43.
43. Okay. When you look at you as a pastor and coming up and all of that, do you feel like with your kids and your grandkids and like other pastors that's come up underneath you, been underneath your tutelage and work beside you, why do you feel like you've given a service to them? I know not a disservice, but what do you think that you've given them? What would be something you would say they got from me in that sense of watching you go through the things you've been through?
I believe that anybody who has been connected to me
Come on.
have left with a true meaning of family and ministry.
Why is that important?
It's important because if you can't balance family and ministry, in spite of how great a preacher you are or great a singer you are, whatever you might consider yourself to be, if you can't balance that, because your home is your first ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that they have gotten that from me, the ideal and the fact that family is first. And here's what I tell them, Al. The priority is God first. That's relationship.
Yeah.
Second is family. That's responsibility.
Okay.
Thirdly is work, because work gives you the ability to take care of your family. And then fourth is church. Church is fellowship. People get fellowship and relationship mixed up.
Okay.
God is always first, relationship. Church comes after family and work.
Yeah.
So church is really fourth and not first.
Mm-hmm.
So to the pastor that don't understand that church is not first, and he put the church before their family, or she put the church before their family, then now you're going to have an unbalanced, situation. Mm-hmm. So I like to think that everybody who is this mine?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice, good cold water. He ain't just got no little bottle of water, big old cold glass of. Oh, this is body armor.
Here he go. I needed it, so I figured I'd get
And in the words of my grandbaby,
So you said relationship, responsibility, work, then fellowship.
right.
So why do you think it's so lost in the sense of that? Where has made it where we've lost the order?
I think that we have lost the order because of the pressure that you can get from the church.
Okay, can you talk about it?
Yeah, sure. The church can put pressure on you until they feel that your child's basketball game is not important, your child's football game is not important, the usher's anniversary is more important than something that you have promised your children. And so we start putting all of these things before our family because they look godly. It
Gotcha.
looks like, hey, he's really dedicated. But if I put God first, that's the book, Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom. He didn't say seek ye first the kingdom of church.
Come on.
It said seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And all other things will be added unto you. So, but they put the pressure on you until you feel like, hey, if I'm not here, then I'm not showing that I'm dedicated.
Gotcha.
So it gets out of whack. I've even had people come and say, hey, you know, I've been called to this, and you know, I'm going to be here regardless. No, you can't come here and you're a married woman and you hadn't cooked food, you hadn't cleaned your house, you hadn't.
Come on.
You know, so all of these things fall in order. Everything that God does, God has an order to it. He is a God of order. And in order for things to line up, you have to put it in order. Even the preacher, even the pastor, whomever, you know, God first. We're not going to take that away. God first. Family.
Yeah.
You got to have a responsibility to take care of that family.
Gotcha.
And then church becomes my place of fellowship.
Yeah.
This is where I get my strength. But I can't put my church before my God or before my family or before my job. Some people say, I'm not going to work on certain things. So you're not?
And I was going to ask you that because I've heard you tell people like, no,
go to work.
Go to work.
I want to be there, but they got me working. I'm going there and tell them I'm not going to work on Sunday. You are?
Yeah.
And so if you lose your job, then who's going to take care of your family? And don't make it a God thing where you say, God going to, I know God is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
But we're talking about doing the right thing.
Gotcha.
So you have to put things in order. And here's what I believe. I believe that if you seek first the kingdom of God, and if you are a good employee,
Yeah.
number one, God sees that. Number two, your employee sees that.
Come on.
And I believe at some point, you keep working in faith. You'd be surprised. Somebody going to come and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to, I know I'm off on weekends, but I don't want weekends off anymore. I'd rather do it. You know, God is going to orchestrate it because it's going to work to your good. All things work together for good for them that love God, for those that are called according to his purpose.
Yeah.
Stay in his purpose. Stay in his will. And I promise you, man, this thing will work out in your favor.
Yeah, I like that. So, okay, we in a good, we heating up. When you look at church, right? And people speak of church hurt. People speak of church hurt. They speak of experiences and different things like that. Is it a thing where what do you think it is that causes it? Is it them? Is it their flesh? Is it the ideal of they had an unreal expectation of people? How do you get over church? How would you tell somebody to get over church hurt? Because you have people leave one church and they come to a different one, or I ain't going over there because I don't like they don't let me sing my favorite song. They the old man in the woods and he want to sing a song. So they got those kind of feelings. So what would you say about that?
The first thing that I have discovered is that you can never downplay anyone's feeling. How they feel is how they feel. Step one.
Come on.
Step two is them coming to a point where they can openly and honestly look at the fact that as to whether their feelings are justified.
Come on.
So you have to justify how we're feeling. And in justifying how you're feeling, you have to be able to take your part of the situation.
Gotcha.
So I know we use the term church hurt, but truly the church did not hurt you.
Come on.
It's people in the church
Come on.
that may have hurt you. My only problem is people don't tell all the truth. They don't tell their side.
Come on.
They only tell the church side. And people want to hear what the church did, but no one ever says, what do you do?
What you do?
Listen, I've been around here almost 65 years, and you are not squeaky clean.
Yeah, everybody got to live there.
You did something in that exchange, and so it didn't work out to your favor, but you left. But I think your feelings are still worth being. Here's what my daddy told me. He said, if somebody brings an issue to you, don't dismiss it.
Come on.
He said, check it for truth. Check it for truth. If you are guilty, admit it, fix it, and move on.
I like it.
if you are not guilty and you know you're not guilty and you've dealt with that honestly, he said, then still move on. But you got to examine people's feeling, but people have to be honest with, with where they are. And this is my pet peeve. I believe that I have a church out there that is untapped.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to invite people. You have to introduce people to Christ and not to people.
Say it again.
Introduce people to Christ and not to people.
Okay.
Because if you introduce people to people and people mess up, people make a mistake. And my dad, you're going to hear me say a lot about my dad.
That's supposed to be.
My dad would tell me that anybody who relay the gospel is capable of error. So don't ever think that you can't say nothing wrong or do anything wrong. Be quick to fix it.
Got you.
Be quick to admit that, hey, I made a mistake or I didn't handle this properly. Be quick to do that. And so sometimes people leave because they feel that, hey, I was not heard in my discrepancy.
Got you.
Nobody heard me or wanted to hear me. And I would ask the question, how did you present your discrepancy?
Right.
Did you present it as an attack? Nobody wants to hear an attack.
Yeah.
But I would hear a suggestion. I think that if there are situations in the church that has happened between two individuals, that you can't show favoritism, but that you got to handle it and hit it on the head.
Right.
Because you want everybody involved to feel loved, and you want everybody involved to feel heard. And you can't jump to conclusions because I've known this person or whatever the situation might be. So, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of justified hurt.
Right.
Well, people's hurt is legitimate, but I think that you have to handle. So let me just say it like this: if you go to Walmart and they mistreat you,
right,
you go to Target. You don't just get out.
Come on, you get out.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
You don't say, I'll never go grocery shopping ever again. No, you're going to go somewhere else and get your grocery. I think the danger is a person just walking around, feeling that I'm so hurt that I could never trust this again. And it's not the church, it's people. And the last thing I would tell anybody who have experienced any type of hurt, you'll never fix a thing from the outside.
Got to get in the middle of it.
You got to get in it and fix it. So if there's a problem in it, your problem can't be solved walking away.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, they say, well, I love you, I love Pastor, but somebody did this and now I'm gone. And I'm like, but that's not helping me.
Right.
I'm not happy believing I'm a good pastor. You're gone.
Gotcha.
Tell me what happened. Tell me. And sometimes my position is mistaken or misunderstood,
Okay.
So give me a chance like you want a chance.
Facts.
Give me a chance to talk about, what has happened. And, people always paint pictures. And my thing is, as a pastor, I want to be as close to you as you allow me to.
Yeah.
So give me that chance. Don't just leave me and say somebody mistreated you, because when they go out there and you say you left memorial, they're going to be saying,
Why? Yeah.
Then we did it.
Yeah.
So, but no, talk to me.
Yeah.
So
when you just said something too, with you and Pastor O, to be on a pedestal, and I know we've had conversations and you even spoke on it before about like never put a person on the pedestal.
Right.
How do you deal with it? Okay, because we got to be honest. If you preaching is this and you go to somebody else's church, sometimes they might sit on their hands on you, because they used to their pastor. They used to the head. But what keeps you and Pastor O yourself so humble in the sense where you trying to push your associate pastors and everybody else, or not get the big head, or what keeps y'all humble like that? What would you say?
My daddy said,
Come on.
if you see a turtle on a light pole, know that the turtle didn't get there by themselves.
Come on.
If you go in my chambers, you'll see a wall of impact.
Yeah.
And that wall of impact is everybody who helped me get where I am. I met them in different stages of our life, and there are men and women on that board that helped Olivia and I get where we are. Those are the things that keep you grounded. You have to have things in your life that keeps you grounded. You have to be accountable to people. If you go in my office, you will see a little wooden church.
Okay.
White wooden picture of a church. That's where I first started. Providence Baptist Church, Lato Seal, Alabama. I was down there for 7 years. I kept telling God I was a city preacher, but he kept me in the country.
Okay.
But that church reminds me
Yeah.
of where I come from. And when you know where you come from, things change, things around you change, but you don't have to change.
Gotcha.
You have to treat people right. You have to love people. And you have to also understand that all of this is just stuff.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's just stuff. And if I'm not a good steward of it, God got somebody else. I'm not irreplaceable.
Okay.
And I don't know how many times you've heard me say, I'm not God. I'm just his representative.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people to think that you're
Yeah.
God and you. And so here's what you have to understand. The African-American church
Right.
is personality led.
Gotcha.
And so you got to understand that they are personality led. Be sure that you don't take advantage of people's feelings and of people's emotions.
Okay.
People trust you. They trust you to tell them the truth and to do what's right. Now anything can be used negatively
Yeah.
to manipulate people. So always try to do, the right thing. And Livy and I, we keep each other balanced and we keep each other grounded, and we're talking about it, all the time because we want to be real. We want people, when they meet us, to know, hey, when you meet me next week, guess what? I'm going to be the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the same way. I want people to know that, hey, we're reachable, we're touchable. We're just not, hey, I need this, I need that, and this and that. I'll tell our armor bearers, hey, listen, before I even knew what an armor bearer was, I was carrying the briefcase.
Come on.
I don't need anybody to carry my briefcase to make me who I am, because I'm well capable of carrying my own briefcase. But if a person comes to me and say, hey, God sent me here to help you.
Come on.
Let me help you do this. That is fine. And now they've just stepped in the circle where now they have to be held to a certain standard.
Come on.
Because they're working close to me.
Yeah.
And so what people see in me, they got to see in you.
Right.
So but just knowing where you come from, knowing that, hey, at the end of the day, the greatest among you is the servant of all.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to pick up the towel, man, and keep on serving. So it doesn't, it don't get me, because I'm in touch with people. I'm in touch with myself. I'm in touch with my children. That's why I love going home, because when I go home, I can be apostle this and bishop this. When I go home, I'm Sammy's boy.
Yeah.
That helps me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Sammy's boy. There go old Larry Aiken.
Right.
Ain't nobody no apostle and bishop. Man, that's Larry Aiken. Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that.
I remember that, not to cut you off. I remember one time you want to go to the barbershop.
Right.
He said, I just want to go to a barbershop where they don't have to act a certain kind of way.
No, man.
They can be themselves. And I remember he was like, you ain't even got to go he's like, you don't got to do all that.
No, man.
He's like, let me walk in regular and be cool. So
and I'm good with that, because you find out so much about yourself and so much about people and so much about things. I meet people all the time. I meet this guy in the car wash, man. He's washing his car. His music is loud. And we're talking, man, and he's like just, he's talking to me, and every word is like, he's just like really cussing. Every word he letting it fly.
Yeah.
So we go home. And it was at the old church, and I pull in the parking lot. He pulls in at his house, and he sees my car, and he yells from the fence, "Hey, man, weren't you just at the car wash?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing at that church?" I'm like, "I pastor here." And he was like, "Oh, man, why didn't you tell me?" And I respond to him by telling him, "Hey, if I told you,
Yeah.
I would not have met the real you.
I would have met your representative.
I would have met somebody else." And he started coming to the church, but just stuff like that. But what he did not know was that Reverend Dan W. States caught me right there.
Come on, tell a story.
Oh man,
Come on.
Olivia, we're in Washington State, in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
Mount St. Helens had just erupted, and Livia was going to a church called Mount Tabor Baptist Church.
All right.
And Reverend Dan States and Mama States, great pastors there, and I wasn't attending the church. I'm just at home. I'm a soldier. I got my Millers, man. I'm just drinking, going, just doing my stuff, and I forgot to pick her up.
Okay.
Then had a few little buds and hit a couple of blunts, and during that time, man, you playing the music.
Yeah.
But the TV's on.
Yeah.
And the music is just killing. And then the door opens.
Okay.
And Livia and Mama States and Pastor States and Deacon Rainey and Sister Rainey.
Come on.
Looked like around about an army of them
In a bit.
came in. And they come in, and man, when I see them, I'm trying to jump up and move all of my beer cans and everything out the way. And here's what Reverend States told me. "No, son, stay right there. I want to meet the real you."
Yeah.
And man, I looked around me. And the first thing I told myself, this is not me.
It's not me.
But that's who I was.
Yeah.
At the time. The good thing is that where I was
Come on.
was not who I was.
Come on.
It was just where I was.
Yeah.
And from that, he put that on my mind because it kept coming up. I want to meet the real you. And I told myself right then, this is not me. Now I didn't quit, and I didn't join the church or nothing right then.
Yeah.
But that set me on the road that I could do better.
So you went on a search to find real you.
So it took me some years to eventually get in the church, and that what he did for me, that man was a whole nother story, man. My God, the people that helped me along the way, this is just incredible.
Gotcha.
A broke soldier, broke car. And he was the first man I ever met that gave me his Sears card. Because when I did start attending the church, I would leave out like 15 minutes early. I had a Chevy Vega. Go outside, lift up the hood, connect the alternator back up because it would run the battery down.
Right.
And Reverend States, he saw I would do it the same time. So he got out. He went and opened up his office door, and he's like, "Boy, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing, Pastor. I'm just fixing this." He said, "I've been watching you. You've been doing that every Sunday." He said, "What's wrong with that car?" I said, "Nothing." "Don't you lie to me, boy. Come over here." And I told him, I said, "Well, sir, I need an alternator. It's draining my battery." Boom, boom, boom. He goes in his wallet, gets out his Sears card, and he said, "Listen, go to Sears, get that alternator fixed, get you a tune-up, and get you a set of good tires for this car." Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind that somebody that didn't know me like that
Gotcha.
could help me.
So
He's on my wall of impact.
I'm about to say, so when you looking at that, and then now when you get in a place where you blessing people, it always goes back to that.
Man, listen, I had a professor that said success without a successor is failure. If you fail to pour into somebody what somebody pours into you, you're not a success in life.
Okay.
You are blessed to be a blessing, not a blessing just because you hold on to it. If you're not helping somebody, when you look at the mentor-mentee relationship, the whole ideal of the mentor-mentee is for the mentee to get the mentor's experience without the mentor's pain. So if I can help you get my experience without my pain,
Stove hot, don't touch it.
that's it. That's my whole thing is to say, Al, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Take my lesson, get my experience. You don't have to walk around with scars.
Gotcha.
No, I have done that. So the mentor has to convince the mentee.
Yeah.
You don't have to touch it. Let me tell you how it feels.
And
let me tell you why you should not touch it.
Gotcha.
So man, just the people that it helped me was just incredible. And that's one of the reasons why I help pastors like I did, because I grew up at a time with old pastors in churches that didn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
They just figured out, hey, you get it the best way. Get it like I get it, the best way you can.
Yeah.
And so my goal is, listen, I'm going to teach them everything I know, so whenever they go anywhere, they can be effective. They'll know what to do. They'll know what not to do. They'll know how to do it.
Gotcha.
And then you feel better about your own self.
Gotcha.
Because you're honing your skills, and you're crafting, there's a craft to ministry. And you got to be able to. The worst thing you could do is go to a church and to a funeral and see a pastor that has never been trained, has never been taught how to do communion, how to do baptism, how to do a wedding. A wedding is some of the most important things in people's lives, and you have to revisit your video and see how somebody just totally messed up your wedding.
Right.
That's from a lack of training. So you could be a great preacher.
Come on.
It does not make you a great ceremonialist. You got to know ceremonies, and just things. But sometimes some of the younger pastors feel that taking instruction or giving instructions mean you're jealous of them. You don't want their gift to go forward. And it's like, no, I'm trying to help you be all you can be.
Gotcha.
I'm not worried about your gift, because you might be the hot stuff now, but just give it 2 or 3 years. Somebody coming right behind you, and they're going to be the new kid on the block. Nobody's time in ministry lasts forever, but as long as you're there, try to be as consistent, as you possibly can.
So with that, we talked about that. I got a question, and all the fellas in the barbershop, we all talk about it. As a pastor, they don't expect you. They couldn't possibly expect you to sing "I Love the Lord" to Pastor O. They couldn't expect you not to court your wife, right? Because that's a everybody kind of look at it like, oh, he's supposed to be this high man. Can you tell people when it comes to the way you look at it, and still still believing in God, still carrying His word? What do you think is something is a key thing when you're courting her, when you still making sure that she gets that? Is it singing songs off the radio? Is it get up and dance with me? What does that look like for you?
Well, like I said, man, Livy and I've been dating for 60 plus years.
Yeah.
And dating is what we do. Do you know how many times we have to reinvent ourselves to stay married and in love for 48 years?
Yeah, they say every 3 years you change.
You have to reinvent yourself constantly. So let me say this before I get deep into your answer.
Okay.
Some people, and I don't want to offend my brothers that do, some people feel that singing or listening to anything else other than gospel is going to be a sin. That's not my thinking.
Yeah.
Because I do like jazz, and I grew up on R&B. And when Livia and I are dating, no, we're not singing Precious Lord and hymns, Won't It Be Grand, and There's a bright cloud rising, let's go home. No, we're not doing those. I think that you can have nice, clean songs like I told you, Manhattans are my guys. And during the time that I came up, man, in the 70s, all of our songs were clean. You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't a lot of cussing or anything, but they were just clean
Love songs.
songs.
Yeah.
You know, hey there, sugar dumpling, come on, give me something, girl. I've been needing for days some of your good loving. Plenty hugging.
Come on.
Ooh, your cute little face. Girl, between you and me now, we don't need no company. No other man, no other girl can enter into our world. Not as long as you groove me, baby. Songs like that.
Yeah.
You know, forever. That's how long I'm gonna love you.
Yeah.
If you want to know, you know,
Gotcha.
so we have Killing Me Softly, you know,
Yeah.
they have redone that.
it, yeah.
And a lot of those songs I my grandkids were like, I'm like, baby, that's old.
That's a remake.
They just you know, I tell you songs we didn't ever want to sing. She used to be my girl.
You didn't want a heartbreak.
Because I'm still holding on to the girl, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that within the confines, here's the book. The book talks about the marriage bed being undefiled.
Yeah.
And as long as it's good for you and her,
Yeah.
as long as it's agreeable for
What
you
works
and
for
her,
y'all, yeah.
you know, you are good. You can't challenge my salvation because I listen to Love Me. Now people listen to the opera. Are they
Right.
are they not? Are
Right.
They're not saved?
Right. That's what I'm
Because
saying. Yeah.
they listen to the opera. Well, so is it, you know. But now I believe that my choice of music is important.
Facts.
So, you know, I still want something that keeps me who I am and keeps me true to who I am.
Right.
But I believe within the confines, yes, we dance. We're trying to learn how to two-step right now. We're trying to figure this thing out because we say the next time we're someplace and they're two-stepping, you know. And then if you've ever been to any of our Valentine banquets or anything, we encourage. I tell my brothers, man, if you're married and your anniversary comes, I don't want to see you at the church. You need to be off dating your wife. Her birthday is here. You go and do something special. Because guess what? When I need you and she's happy, you can do what you need to do. You know, because she comes first. So you know, we're teaching it. No. So man, we do our courting. We go to the movie theaters, man.
Yeah.
We love, you know, because we go early.
Yeah, get it out
You
the way.
go early. No, not to get out of the way so we can watch 3 or 4. You know, we go in there. And then sometimes we in there watching 3 or 4 movies, and I look at her, she sleeps, she touch me, and I touch, we will, oh yeah, let's finish watching this.
Yeah.
You know, but that was our peace and quiet time. So, you know, but yeah, man, we go window shopping.
said window shopping.
Window shopping. You know, see, I couldn't always buy what I wanted to buy, and I still can't do it. But
Come on.
man, we go look and we be like, hey, that would look nice right there. You know, just looking in and looking at furniture, and man, we could spend a day
Yeah.
just walking through, looking in. You know, like, hey, I'd like to have that. Put that on the bucket list. You know.
Okay.
Of course, we take trips, man. And,
Yeah. You're gonna do them trips.
And Jamaica is like our second home. You know, we gonna get to Jamaica. You know, but we have just decided that in order to take care of people,
Gotcha.
we have to take care of us.
Yeah.
You know, so if I have nothing to give my family, if I have nothing to give my children, if I have nothing to give my ministry, because I'm all giving out. So our trips help us refurbish, regenerate, refresh, revivify, and renew.
Facts.
You know, so we can come back stronger. And then when we get back, guess what we're doing? We're working as hard as we can because we're looking forward to the next vacation.
The next one. Okay. So if you could, if you're gonna get an extra hour in the day, what would you? How would you spend it?
If I could get myself a 25th hour,
Yeah. How would you spend it?
it would definitely be about Olivia because my first 5 years of marriage wasn't the greatest
Okay.
because I didn't know how to be married.
Mm.
But I made her a promise that I would spend the rest of my life making it up to her. So if I had extra time, it would definitely be time
Okay.
that would be with her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So-
When you say you wasn't ready, is it just more or less just had to grow?
Yeah. I mean, of course, man. I wanted to be married.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
But,
Yeah.
but listen, man. I proposed to this girl. Knew I was gonna marry her all my life. I proposed at 3, 5, 7, 9, 12.
So you got
15.
a tree with your name carved.
Yeah,
on it.
man. But yeah, man. You talk. This is the dude, man, that bring bunny rabbits for Easter and candy for. Man, I'd give her that stuff and run and hide behind a tree somewhere and watch her open up the door to get the teddy. But you know, so but I knew love.
Come on.
But just because you know love doesn't mean you know marriage.
Yeah.
You know, because marriage is that thing that takes you beyond
Come on.
love.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love her. I just didn't know, man. I didn't understand accountability, and and here's another story. LaMonica gets sick, man. She has a serious asthma attack. We didn't have cell phones, but we had pagers.
Yeah.
And all kind of stuff like that. And I ran with a group of guys that was like, man, you henpecked. You
Yeah.
go, I go when I want to go. That girl can't tell me
Right.
nothing. And we come home, you know, from being with the guys. I got a good buzz going.
Yeah.
And we come home with the guys. You know, they drop me off. And there's a note on the door. We at the hospital. Monica had an asthma attack.
Gotcha.
Buzz gone, boom. Stop the guys before they pull off. They run me to the hospital. There's King Richard.
Where you behind?
Runs me to the hospital. Get to the hospital. And I got to walk down this long hallway. And guess who's there? All the people from her church.
Okay.
And they're looking at me like, where he been?
Yeah.
What kind of daddy and husband
Right.
is he? Looked like they had the ushers, the choir, the deacons. They had all the mothers.
They all buried around her. You gotta comb through her.
Man, I'm going down this what I call my walk of shame.
Walk of shame. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I get in there, man. And LaMonica is tubes all over her, man. Nose, mouth, you know, all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I get in there and hear what the doctor's saying. But look like while I'm walking, the people are looking at me like,
Yeah.
do you believe this dude? You know, shameful time for me. But I go through, I get in there and, you know, Monica stays there a couple of days. But that was one of the times where I made up in my mind that how important accountability
Gotcha.
in marriage was. You know, I didn't get married to be single. I got married to be married. I wanted to spend more time with the boys because that's where my fun was.
Come on.
And then my challenge was, you know, she telling you what to do and, you know, just hang around them old guys. They fill your head up with all this stuff.
Right.
And you the man and you ain't got to do this. But I didn't quite feel like the man when my family
Right.
was in the shape they were in. And I made up in my mind that day that I'm going to be an accountable husband.
Right.
That it's all right. Because that's when I realized that my wife wasn't trying to stop me from going where I was going.
Yeah.
But she was trying to let me know that, baby, if you're going to go, I got to know where you are.
Yeah.
Because this kind of stuff
Gotcha.
can happen. And so that I do a whole lesson on what I call the big A. The big A.
Right.
And that's the power of accountability, because accountability does not take anything from
Right.
you.
All right.
But accountability adds to you.
Facts.
You know, so yeah.
Okay, so we're moving along. So,
All right.
So dreams and legacies, right? When you were pastor, bishop, apostle. Before you was apostle, it was Swope Parkway, right? It was a little place down on Swope.
Little Swope Parkway, 6640 Swope Parkway.
They say a roof may have fell down,
Man,
right?
the roof collapsed. The roof collapsed, and I think the church at that time, the building was 19 years old when the roof collapsed.
Yeah.
And I had been there just 9 or 10 years, something like that. Man, church was busting loose at the scene. People everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You had to bring the police, man, to direct the traffic. It was crazy. That roof collapsed and changed the trajectory of our ministry, man. And one day, April 13th, 2006, was when that roof collapsed. Man came in, and for 2 weeks I'd seen some sheetrock dropping on the pulpit. The brother said it's just the building shifting.
Gotcha.
But that thing didn't resonate in my spirit. So I called the construction engineer, and he came out and he said, listen, he went right down here to Red Bridge Baptist Church. He said, listen, there are 4,000 buildings that I have inspected, and only 3 buildings have I told people to get out of immediately, and this is one of them. And within 8 hours, man, that building came down.
Yeah.
And they said it was a 7-second drop. Man, everybody could have died in there.
Gotcha.
But God brought us from under the rubble. But it changed the ministry. People scattered, and people who've been with me a long time didn't think the church was going to make a comeback. And
Right.
everybody was leaving, and there we were with a handful of people, and we had already purchased the building that we're in now on Hickman Mills. We brought that building December the 31st, 2005. So we had a building, but we didn't have money because the insurance company, Church Mutual, said that the building had been built faulty.
Gotcha.
And it voided all of the insurance. And so there we was. Got the brothers together one night, said, hey, we're going to pray. We're going to go in here and get what we can out the basement.
Gotcha.
And we're going to pray that God be with us. And a whole lot of stuff, because we had commercial refrigerators and commercial stoves that we couldn't get out of, but we just got computers, cameras, desks, all of this, and praying the whole time, and just got it out there, loaded up in the truck, and moved 5 times before we got to this building here. So,
and they say, rumor has it, you walked around with some blueprints.
listen,
Because you had a vision.
I had a vision. See, the power of vision is that you don't have to have money to dream. You can be broke and dreaming. Man, listen, I had cried till I couldn't cry no more.
Come on.
And the people were not looking for a leader that cried. They was looking for a leader that was going to lead, even though we were coming out of the rubble. I stopped crying one night, and I came out to this building because it was, okay, God, what are we going to do?
Right.
And I mapped it out in my mind. I drew it out. And with no money, I went to an architect. I said, hey, I own this building.
Yeah.
This is what I see. And it's going to help my people to see it.
If you draw it
if
out.
we can draw it out.
Yeah.
Very minute changes was made to the building.
Okay.
He's like, man, this is incredible. He said, because there are a few things I got to change due to code. He said, but man, this thing is perfect.
Yeah.
And so for 3 years, I walked around with that blueprint
Coffee stain.
up under my, listen, anybody who would hear,
Yeah.
I roll that blueprint out. Listen, we're going to do this. We're going to have this over here. We're going to have this back here. People would see me coming and go the other way because they're like, oh, Lord, here he come with those blueprints. But, man, I was dreaming, and I knew God had put it in my heart.
Yeah.
And that's all I had. That was my sanctity, was that God was going to give us the grace to bounce back, that we are going to come back as a church, that God is going to build us up once again.
Gotcha.
You know. And man, and that's what I mean, Richard, everybody can tell you, I lay that blueprint out in a heartbeat and be pointing.
So
now the dream is a reality.
the dream is a reality.
So now I got another dream.
Okay. so now we talked about one of your dreams, which is a major one. What you want your legacy to be? We got a long way to go.
Long way to go.
But what
long
you want
way
your
to go.
legacy
But
to be?
you know, if my legacy would just be that I loved God,
Yeah.
I loved my family, and I gave the very best, you know, of my service. I put pressure on me because I tell myself, even on a Sunday, I can't afford to have a bad Sunday.
Yeah.
I can't afford to get up and preach a message unprepared because people's lives are in the balance. I can't get up on a given Sunday and have no direction. You know, so I want that to be my legacy. I want my children to know that I love their parents and that I love them. And I want them to know that there's absolutely nothing that they cannot do, that they put their mind to, that God has already given them the insight and the ability to get it done, and that they are placed on this earth for a purpose. If I was a mechanic, I'd fix cars. If I was a policeman, I'd solve problems. But I'm a preacher.
Yeah.
So I preach the gospel.
And every now and then we get a little moan in there.
And every now and then, you know, listen, I'm from Georgia, and they believe you ain't preaching
If you ain't moaning.
if you ain't. So then, as I come to a close on tonight,
Yeah.
I want to thank God. Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at your childhood, and you can pick your 30s, or you can pick your 40s, or you can pick your 20s, what would you tell the young Larry? What would you tell young Larry? What's one thing you would say to him?
What would I say to younger me? Here's after the younger Larry got himself together, let me go from that point there, because it took me longer than I wanted to.
Right.
But after the younger Larry got myself together, got God in his life, got direction, I would have done better with my finances.
Gotcha.
I would have saved early. I would have invested early.
Gotcha.
You know, I would have not only built a better spiritual legacy, but a better financial legacy as well. If you want to leave your family in a good position,
Gotcha.
insurance alone is not going to do it.
Yeah.
401k alone is not going to do it. You know, see, I wasn't taught about money.
Right.
I wasn't taught about how to handle money. You know, now I was taught not to just throw money away,
Yeah.
but I wasn't taught how to save money.
Gotcha.
I wasn't taught the value of good credit, you know. So these are all things I had to play catch up on. But man, if I could get that thing, if I could have got that earlier, if I could have been saving,
Yeah.
you know, my money, I would have been in millionaire, probably billionaire status.
Facts.
And, you know, just investing, because I think I had enough of the whole spiritual thing down. But just not coming from, because, you know, my dad had to work. You know, he worked. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't no saving and stuff. We working to live. You know, but if I learned earlier how to make my money, you know, work for me, I probably would been retired, been gone earlier.
Gotcha.
You know, but the most preachers give so much of what they get until, I don't want to be like the old preachers where I'm too old to preach but too broke to quit. You know, I'm getting out of here early.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting ready to turn 65, so I want to be gone no later than 68 years old. No later than 68 years old, so I can go and preach and sing all around the world.
In a Winnebago.
In a Winnebago without the burden, and I'm saying that very lightly. And when I say the burden, I'm talking about the responsibility that come with pastoring. I wanna get out while I'm still good at it.
Gotcha.
While I can still do it. I don't want folk to say he used to be good.
Gotcha.
But actually, folk now saying, "Boy, you better than what you done ran into."
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I'm going back.
So I got two more. We're in a good place. When you telling a young pastor that's coming into this thing, what would you tell them as far as preaching the word versus preaching your flesh, or preaching, because that's a lot of things where people say, is he preaching the word? Is he preaching him? How would you tell him to handle that?
Well, the pulpit is not a place for your feelings, and that's when you get out of faith.
Yeah,
is when you get into feelings. The pulpit is not a place to get even with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a place to get after the people. So you have to handle the word with care.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you have to know that people are coming to hear from him and not from you. The anointing is on the word. We just happen to be carriers of the word. But understand, the word can preach without us.
Yeah.
You can go get a dog and he can bow wow it real good.
Right.
So sometimes we think it's us, but it's the word.
You gotta get out your own way.
So you get out your way, man, and just let the word do the work, and just have people you can talk to, have people that you are accountable to. Mm-hmm. As a pastor. I got two pastors right now.
Okay.
I got my home pastor. I'm older than all of them, but I gotta have a pastor because that's who I'm accountability. And then I have, like in the city, I have older guys that I go to. John Marty Smile, John Mark Johnson. These are guys that call me son.
Gotcha.
And I respect them, that if I have an issue, that I can go to them. And when they call me son or say that's my boy, that to me, that's not a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
But that's a sign that I can look up to them. And who you humble yourself to, it's not about the fact that your church is bigger than their church or anything like that. But it's all about, I'm wise enough to know that I can't make it in ministry by myself. So I look for the wisdom in all of that. I look for the wisdom in a Dr. Miles, look for the wisdom in a Bishop John Mark Johnson, just to call them up and say how you doing, and bring up a situation that I may not know about, and have no problem with them saying, no, son, don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it like that. Think about this. You call me after church. We'll talk,
Right.
So, I look for all of that, from them. So you never want to get to a point to where you feel you know it all.
Gotcha.
You got it all. And you don't have to be accountable to anybody. So I love being accountable to them.
Okay.
And I think that's very, very important.
Okay. So I appreciate you so much for coming. Let me come in. Letting the prodigal nephew.
Well, let me say this. let me say this.
Okay.
I want everybody to know how proud I am of you, man.
I appreciate it.
You making this thing happen. Got a nice setup.
Shout out Corey, behind the lane.
Listen, Corey, well, listen, Alvin had Simon, Batman had Robin.
Come on. 2-man crew, we running it.
Hey, listen, man, it's all about it. I think that the fact that you have two young men that's making an impact in their way.
Gotcha.
I think it's phenomenal. I watched the setup. I watched what you do, and now the only thing I leave here with is how can I do this?
Gotcha.
because one of the greatest joys of envy is just copying off a person. You don't have to reinvent it.
You can do this.
You know, but it's a blessing. But I do want you to know, man, I'm so proud of you, proud of the both of you, man, what you're doing, and you're putting stuff on people, man. You're letting voices like mine be heard, and and I just hope that this kind of thing can continue to go on, because it's so much that you have to say and enlighten people too. And so come on, Kansas City, let's get on board and let's help these brothers do what they do.
I appreciate you so much, man. Everything from praying over me to calling me when I don't call,
That's right.
getting on me.
Al has been a bad son. He don't always call. He's been a bad son, but you know what I like him? He take a licking, but keep on ticking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get you about this hat you got on your head, but we'll get on it later.
Listen,
and then if you turn that candle around, it got something on there that you might know. It's kind of,
wait a minute.
you can't be my uncle now if you don't know that. Listen, I'm gonna get on you about that later, but
that's right. You got to let me ride the wave right now. I'm on the wave. Let me ride the wave.
But so I remember real quick. When I first started coming here. I used to sit in the little row and used to say, "Boy, that's Andre Crouch."
Soon and very soon. I waiting on you. I waiting on him to break out. We are going to see the King. Like, man, Andre ain't doing. What's wrong with Andre? Like,
he would always tease me, but it was always in love. And then if I ever looked over there, even serving, serving with you, I could always count on you was gonna make the day. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna do it.
Of course, shout out Richard and all the other armor bearers, Shepherd staff, Memorial as a whole. I love y'all. I always have, I always will.
Yes, sir.
Never goodbye. I always see you later.
That's it.
May God be your direction and we be your seatbelt in this thing called life.
Yes, sir.
Until we see each other again, y'all be cool, be safe.